Okay, we're recording. So yeah, the recording does a bunch of things. The recording makes it so that I have these lessons so that I can crop them down and then, basically teach them to people, even when I'm not here.
Will people hear our voices?
They will. You're actually part of it. They won't see your faces though.
Great.
They're only going to see what's on the screen. Okay, so
Great.
gentlemen, I have actually a lot planned for the day.
Will
as
they
always.
see your face though?
They will
they
see
see
my
your face?
face. They'll see my face if I choose to put it in. So the way it goes is like my vision field is like my face. I see you, John, and then I don't see Xavier because this thing, like, it just shows his name.
Yeah.
All that gets cropped out. And can you see the screen right now? You see all this extra stuff? You see all this extra stuff that's on the side? I get rid of all that.
They'll just see that.
Yeah.
So far.
Okay. The theme for the day is arches. Actually, it's not for the day. It's for like the first 20 minutes. It's essentially a warm-up. I don't know if you guys have any interest in architecture whatsoever, but one of the most fundamental architectural elements is the arch, and it is just a beautiful design component, and we're gonna draw it. So let's just draw the ground. Are you on board, John? Do you want to do this? Xavier, are you with us?
Yes, I'm on board.
Okay. So we need to basically draw the ground.
Xavier didn't respond though, so he might not be here.
I think he'll do it. He might be just non-visible. All right. So what we need to do is like this is my stick figure. This is my version of a stick figure. We're trying to get a man on the ground. When I say a man, I mean a human. And what we're trying to do is build a space around him. So this is essentially the door that we're trying to build a space for. Follow me?
Yeah, I follow you.
Cool. So we need to basically build walls or columns on either side. And this is like kind of a fancy decoration. We're not going to do it like exactly right. We're not going to copy it exactly, but what I would like to do is draw and stack bricks, symmetrical bricks on either side. So it has nothing to do with what the left side and the right side are, as long as they're the same. So there's one brick that's on this side, one brick that's on this side. Then I might do a smaller brick that is a little bit taller. And then I'm just going to add the same size brick to the other side. So it's the symmetry factor that I'm more interested in than what the bricks look like. So sometimes you don't have, you don't necessarily have the ability to create exactly the same size brick. So at least you can make them in pairs.
And sometimes there aren't even the exact size brick.
Exactly, even on either side. The goal is that we've got to get to the top of this column of bricks.
Got it. So we start.
So that we can lay a cantilever over the top.
What's a cantilever? Guess what I'm going to use to make my lines exact.
Yeah, please. I feel a little bad.
To make my lines straight.
I should have recommended a ruler.
Make my lines straighter.
I'm going to go tone, light, tone, light, tone, light, tone. I'm going to do that just so I can keep the bricks straight in my mind. Tone, light, tone, light, tone, light, tone. So I did like wide, narrow, 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 wide. And I'm just
Dang
doing
it, we're
that.
the only people here.
just
Do you
so I
think
can
everyone
keep it-
else died?
I mean, their
They could
presence
have
is not.
died.
Their presence is not felt during this art class. That, in a sense, is a form of death, but I don't think their heart has stopped beating in this realm.
Maybe their heart hasn't stopped beating.
Does
Their
that
lungs have stopped
clarify it?
breathing. And their brain has stopped working. And it's full of gross fluid.
Well, I can tell you that their brains are not making architecture right now, which
Yay.
is a little unfortunate. All right, so one of the ways, one of the ways that you can make a support structure across two columns is to cantilever, and that's what this slab of marble is linking one column to the other column.
I think they died.
I think that
I think they just quit. I think they just quit of learning now.
Yeah, I don't want to learn either. I don't blame them.
oh, you guys don't want to learn drawing?
I want to learn, but I don't want to have to work to learn.
That's interesting.
It's an
I mean,
it's an interesting perspective.
working to learn is like the most fun. Although it reminds me, like,
Depending
imagine
on what work.
it's like, imagine if you were like a computer and like you could just like download skill sets instead of like learning and developing skill sets.
Yeah,
But the
like
thing
Tim and
is,
Moby
like-
and the Mysteries of Life.
Oh yeah,
The one where he's like, where did you learn to do the blue? Where did you learn to do the blues? And then he just pulled out a chip on from his head and it said the blues on it.
Exactly.
It's like that. He doesn't work to learn. He just does.
But I mean, but honestly, what you'll find is that the process of learning and the like developing skills and doing it on your own is
I wouldn't
actually
blame them.
is the best part.
I wouldn't blame them because I had two tests today, one for math and one for language arts.
I have tests I have a math test.
It's a rough day.
Here's my protractor that I needed for math.
You
My
lost it.
protractor. I can use this even better.
You go to
Mr. Checkley, are you in the house?
Yes, the assignment graded
Hello.
8.1 independent
are you,
practice for me.
Good to see you, dude. So Jack, we were gonna look at some
And the
some
two
arches.
cents and the three
just for
cents.
like just for the beginning. So what we did is we built a column on the right, we built a column on the left, and we started with the ground plane. So we just started with the ground and we put a person on the ground. And we're trying to basically build a big space above him. So we stacked these blocks all the way up on one side, and then we symmetrically stacked these blocks on the other side. And then what we did is a cantilever, which is actually not the strongest. It's really not like the strongest way to suspend weight, but it's part of this architectural piece. And then we got sidetracked. So that's really all we've got. So we've got the columns.
Yeah,
and then
because
we've
we
got
thought you
we got this
died.
beam. We thought maybe, Jack, you might not have made it, but I'm happy
Yeah, made it
to-
out alive.
you are in fact living and breathing. So that's good.
Yeah, because I convinced everyone that everyone else was dead.
And
So,
his,
yeah.
John's persuasion is, next level. So we almost believed it. Okay. So
I can
before
be
we get
there.
into the whole point of this arc, I mean, the whole point of this drawing is to do this arc up here, and it's really beautiful. So to point out what the elements are, like the actual building blocks, each one of these blocks is narrow on the inside and wider on the outside. So what we need to fulfill is an arc going over. So I noticed I took the center line between these two cavernous moments, the center of our cavern. And then this is what we need to build. We're basically building an arc that distributes all the weight that's above this, like there's all this weight above it, into these columns. Because if the weight goes in the middle, it's going to break the stone. So the weight has to be redistributed from the center down into the columns on either side. And this arc is basically the structure that we need to build. And in order to do that, if you guys just watch over here, the right side columns will be narrow and then they'll be thick. Can you guys see that? I think you can. Let me see if I can move this over. Okay, yeah, you can see that. And then if you take the same rock, narrow and then thick, stack it, it starts to build a curve. So let me switch colors and see if we can do this. So there's a block on this side, a vertical, and then it angles out and it's wider on the outside. And then we're gonna stack another one. It's gonna be at a slight angle, narrow on the inside, wide on the outside. Narrow inside, wide outside. Now I've stacked 3. The way that this is done is like at this point, if you were to stack these stones, like if you're just stacking them, this one would fall into the middle. It wouldn't be able to support itself because of the tension on both of the blocks. So what architects and builders would do is they would build a wooden trellis to support the weight of the blocks. So if we did the right side, let's do the left side. So we're going to do basically the same size block. Another one. It's a trapezoid. So it's wider on the outside, narrower on the inside. Narrow on the inside, wider on the outside. So I think with this situation, we're going to be able to add 2 more bricks. And then like the star of the show is the center block. And that's called the Keystone. It's a very similar shape that our bone structure has between our eyes. And what that does is that gives you the most amount of weight to support all of the leaning. So all of these bricks lean to the center on both sides, and it distributes the weight down into
if you take out the Keystone, that guy's dead. If you take out the Keystone, he's dead.
So dead. Squashed.
Obliterated. Demolished.
So many words to describe.
Let's go to
let's go to
thesaurus. Let's go to thesaurus.com just to see the synonyms.
All right, so I'm going to add an epic keystone, and you'll see in these buildings, whether they're necessary or not, the keystone is such a symbolic form, and it's just like so crucial to
biggest stone
humans have known about building.
One giant gray stone on the exterior of the Gilman Lower School, and it says when it was rebuilt on it. And I was like, is that the Keystone? And I was like, if it is, I'll take it out. I was like, if it is,
is it the cornerstone? It might be the cornerstone.
It says the date on it.
Is it low or high? Is it like low on the ground?
Low.
Yeah, it's a cornerstone. Cornerstones actually have I left it at home. Cornerstones are hugely important. Also.
I know, but most buildings don't rely on keystones now.
No, it's symbolic. It's mostly symbolic.
Because back then they couldn't like make even blocks. So it's like, all right, how are we gonna do this? Oh, right, we're gonna just use this one stone to do everything. But instead, now we just say, all right, we're gonna get these stones from a factory that are perfectly sync, and we can just stuff them.
Right. They use like machines that have like exact measurement, and they're not like carved by hand. I know the hand carved ones, they lasted so many centuries though.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
imagine if we lost those machines.
Burned, the only parts that collapsed in Notre Dame were the wooden parts. Everything else, all the stonework stayed up there. Okay, now we don't need to do this, but I'm just gonna like point it out. Imagine if, oh, I might switch colors. Imagine if you had a strong metal column that came up on either side, because I don't have enough room to draw the stonework. But then there's a whole nother capital. This is called the capital, you know, in architecture. And that holds this low triangular roof. And it's also like, you know, a really gorgeous form. And then there's this, looks like this, there's like this shield, this oval form that rests right on top of the keystone, probably has some religious connotation associated with it. What building is this? Porta del Citadella in Mantua.
Oh, I hate this. I hate this. No, I hate this.
Hey, what?
Not the drawing.
So a citadel.
Now, Deck the Halls is stuck in my head for no apparent reason. I hate it.
All right. I'm going to end this operation right here. But because I don't want to get too far of this. Really what I want to do is show that there's columns, and then show how the arc stones lead into the keystone.
I gave mine sort of an angle to make it dramatic.
Let's see what it looks like. Oh man, it's gorgeous, dude. All right, cool. Hold on. How am I gonna take a picture of that with Stacy not here? Xavier, it's exceptional.
You can
Very
take a screenshot and then you can just go off for a sec, zoom in, and
How
then
do you even take a screenshot?
what device are you on?
I have a Mac.
Does that have a keyboard?
Yeah.
Does it have a home button?
No.
All right, so what you're going to do is go to the keyboard, and
Hold on,
then
I might
there's
just-
at
I
the
might just
very
take
top there are a
Let me take a
few
picture of that.
buttons, and
Let me take a
then
picture.
there's hold on.
Yeah, just take a picture of the screen just like Stacy does.
And then I have to stop the share. I'll stop the share. Then we'll come back.
Yeah, just take. All right, let's see here.
You hold it up again, John.
You can take screenshots on your Mac. I just don't know how to tell you to do it.
Okay. John, say something.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I needed. Okay. All right, Xavier.
Yeah.
Xavier, say something and then hold up the drawing.
Yeah.
Now hold up your drawing. Nice. That's very
I'm gonna put a
nice.
coffin. I'm gonna put a coffin under it.
Jack, you got anything for me? Or did you come in too late?
Almost done.
All right, cool.
Just come back to me in like a minute.
That's fine.
All right, I'm adding a fancy.
I'll just take I'll
coffin.
take yours at the end, dude. All right, screen
All right,
share.
I added a fancy coffin.
Let's see it. Oh my gosh. That is awesome. Where was that book? This is my medieval drawings book. Hold on. I found a you would not believe the books that are in my bag right now. They're so good.
I'm really happy with my drawing. I mean, like more happy than I would ever be.
That's why you guys pay the big bucks. Where's my medieval sketchbook?
I'm drawing my crazy flag right now. This crazy flag is falling down.
All right, check this out. This might actually have a keystone in here too. Look at all these architectural. Look at that one. I have not.
Where-
Maybe we
Where?
explore this book today. This is like a floor plan.
Oh, that's cool.
All of these drawings are from like
Is the keystone at the very
Leather
top, or where is it? Sometimes keystones are.
this
can
was
be
this was
anywhere.
actually This is actually a floor plan. So this is actually like a roof, believe it or not. Xavier, show it again.
Yeah.
I missed it. Yeah, that's
I
that's
put a
awesome.
bell in there.
I'm looking for this beautiful. It must have been a tomb. It must have been a tomb, but it was in profile, very similar to the one that you just showed.
All right. Here's my El People flag.
That's gorgeous too, dude. Wow, is that like Celtic?
What do you mean?
The pattern, it looks Celtic.
No, I just drew a pattern.
This might be taking too long, but ooh, that's a nice swan.
All right, Mr. Twist, I hear of my work. What made that noise?
I did.
Oh, okay.
I still can't
Um,
see here. Yeah,
That's pretty good.
that is really good.
I like it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like it a
Like-
lot. One thing, everybody that did this, let me turn the one of the things that there's the cantilever that goes across, it goes parallel to the Keystone, perpendicular to the Keystone, I should say. There are these little architectural rectangles that are spaced out. There's like 5 of them. I don't know if you saw that, but they would go
keep-
right
Adding stuff.
here. They go here and here.
I keep
I'm sorry,
adding.
guys. I would have bet $100 it was in this book. I'm not seeing it. Whoa. I used to teach this lesson. This is the you guys ever heard of the show The Wheel of Fortune?
Yeah.
Okay, so the show
What
Wheel of
is
Fortune.
that?
This is
Oh, it's
this
a
is
person.
this is the original Wheel of Fortune. So it had
Yowzers.
these 6 spaces. So this is a king in the middle. And in order to play, you would spin it. And this king becomes like divine. This king like gets broken. I don't know. There's like each one of these kings, there's like a different fate. And each one of those drawings represents a different fate. Cool, right?
Yeah, yeah, that is very cool. I like it.
Stacy just called. So I'm wondering
I
if she's
also-
trying to get
May you
in.
please show the first drawing again?
Yeah.
I keep
you.
adding stuff to mine. See, I keep adding stuff.
There's little guys in here too. I mean, we could keep building on it, but there's another one that I wanted to do.
Cool.
So awesome. All right, let's try. Should we try the next one? Or did you want to?
Why not?
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Can I take a screenshot of that image first?
Yeah. Let me get the whole
Thank you.
thing in case you wanted to
The
embellish on
real
it.
question, Mr. Twist, is if you're up for it.
Oh, I'm up for it. I'm up for
Oh,
anything.
great.
Although I am going to.
I got it.
Great. Alrighty. Next one. Which
This is my here. This is my friend. He's my friend.
He's more like your enemy.
Oh, hey, Stace, do you want me to put you on speaker? All right, here's Stacy. She
Stacy's
remembers-
here.
Stacy's on the phone.
phone. You're on speakerphone.
Let me turn up the volume. Can you hear now?
Can you hear me now? I can hear now. Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just need to turn my volume up a little and I'll be good.
You do sound a little muffled though.
Mine's at 100% and I can't hear you, Stacy.
Yes, Trevor.
Yeah.
I can hear you perfectly and mine's at a little less than 100.
Mine's at 100%. I definitely cannot hear you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stace, they can't
So-
hear you. I think your voice is muffled in your phone.
Oh, wait. How about now?
Probably a little better.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
So, gentlemen, I really just wanted to call and say I am really missing not being there with you all. And I would like to know if anyone helped me today to remind Mr. Twist to record.
Oh, he reminded himself.
Oh,
It's a shocker. I know it's a shocker.
Shocker.
it is a bit of a shocker, but I'm so glad.
I can read your mind.
So, does Mr. Twist know how to take photos so I can see your work? Trevor,
Oh,
do you know how to do that?
No.
While
he's taking
you're
a photo.
I had to stop the share. I had to stop the share and then take photos off the screen, like you do.
Oh. So, how about this, guys? If you're able to send Trevor pics, that would be so sweet. I'd be able to see them. And if you can't or don't, I'll give you a hard time about it next week. So, get back to class. Enjoy. What are you guys working on right before I call?
We just finished the
Sure.
first round. We're gonna start arches. We're
I
doing the
keep
second. We're
saying
doing the
arches.
second set of arches.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, enjoy, guys. Have a great weekend. And I will look forward to seeing y'all next week.
All right, Stace. Is there a score yet? Do you know who's winning? Is Gilman winning?
I know because I had to run home to walk Tucker.
You
and
know,
I know
Wait, Stacy,
what-
are you at a baseball game?
I'm coming to Gilman. My son plays
Are you-
for Gilman.
Lacrosse.
Are you
It's
at
like
a
they're
ba- are
playing.
you going to a
Gilman's
baseball
playing
game?
McDonough.
Are you going to
No,
a baseball
right.
game, Stacy?
Lacrosse, Jack.
Oh, lacrosse. Okay.
Lacrosse, guys, and basketball.
you
And
know,
volleyball.
volleyball is the most popular sport in Gilman. Only 32 people signed up for baseball, while 50 people did volleyball.
No way.
I
Really?
didn't- I did not know.
Really, and
I
like
did not know that.
20 people signed up for football. I don't know about lacrosse though.
Wow. Well, I can tell you that I love to watch volleyball more than lacrosse, maybe more than basketball, but definitely more than lacrosse. But
Yeah, we do
I'm
for volleyball and PE.
something about volleyball at PE.
You're doing our volleyball unit.
Oh, good. Well, enjoy it. Jump as high as you can.
Ah,
And
spike
Trevor,
it.
thank you so
Spike
much.
it. Set.
I'm so glad I got a chance to talk to you guys.
I'm glad you came in too, Stace. Thank you so much.
Okay, we'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
My
Bye, guys.
volleyball is my protractor. Have you ever
Okay.
met Manoli Frangakis?
Who is it?
He's a student at Gilman. Manoli Frangakis.
I don't think I know him. What grade is he in?
4th.
No, yeah, I don't know a lot of the younger guys. The fourth graders I've only had during Zoom. So unless it was Zoom, I don't know them.
Yeah, me and Miles are 4th.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
culture
so
and
gentlemen, let's get back to this drawing because this is actually really kind of
Yeah.
it's kind of exciting. It's like a very
that's so
different type
cool.
of architecture. These are basically tunnels. I don't know if they're sewage tunnels or whether there's a road that goes up above here and there's a stream that passes underneath it. There's a woman that seems to be collecting water. So this could be a spring as well. So it's basically like a protective roof over a spring. Xavier, what'd you say?
I finished my the first one. I added a lot to it. Here's mine.
Oh my Lord.
I'm
All right,
using
let me take a picture
protractor
of that
to get
bad
the
boy.
arch. I'm using my
Mhm.
protractor to get the arch for one.
It's not focusing. Oh, there it goes. Sweet. All right, Xavier, thank you. That's a lot of work, man. That flag is great too. So as the arches that we just built were like kind of a grandiose type of space, these are like ancient Roman ruins. So the title of the piece is like Ruins. And so I think it's an old spring from like the old Roman Empire being drawn kind of in like probably the 1600s or so. So maybe
This
like
is
100,
like
150
printouts.
years after the Renaissance, but
So-
in Rome where ruins still existed from ancient times. What's that?
So this is like a printout from the 1600s, or
Correct. There's a drawing from the 1600s, but the ruins are ancient. So the ruins go back, you know, probably 2,000 years in 1600. So probably like, you know, 2,500 years now, roughly. 2,400. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing that we did the last time. This is going to have a little bit more of a third dimension because I want to draw like the inside of these tunnels. So you can kind of see that you can see the inside wall here on the left. You can see the inside wall here on this left, and then it kind of disappears into, you know, the tunnel, like the abyss. It's like totally black. So it goes into a cavern that you can't actually make out. So let's start with, it's almost like a double arch. So I'm going to do a row of bricks that are along the bottom. So this is the ground, and I'm layering a, you know, so you can see where the woman is holding this bowl on her head, and there's another lady that looks like she's washing clothes, and then there's this other urn that's here. It's probably like a water jug. They are standing on the ground here, but there's a row of like pretty sizable blocks on the ground. So that becomes our foundation. So the ground, you could draw grass if you wanted to make it look like grass, like he does. You can show that there's some like grass that overlaps the blocks. The main point is that we've got a solid foundation, this wall that is keeping all the water that's inside the tunnels, keeping them inside the tunnel. I'm seeing from the middle, there seems to be a second row of blocks, which I love. So I got my first row of blocks, and the second row of blocks looks like it only goes over to the left. So I know this might seem like kind of boring, but we have to start somewhere. And usually in architecture, you start from the foundation. And that's what we're building in our drawing is the foundation. And, you know, if you can't see the blocks, it's okay. Like, you know that they are blocks. You know, they might have a little bit of tone to them, what have you. Hold on a second, I'm getting... My jeweler is texting us.
Jewel.
Okay.
I just finished my entire piece.
Wow.
Yowza,
All right.
nice.
So Jack, I'm gonna wait to for the very end to stop the screen share, and then we'll get a high definition version of it. That looks awesome.
I've also noticed something
Mhm.
that a lot of the times I notice this with my St. Catherine's sword, that things look a lot like with my grave, with my grave that
Yeah.
I drew.
They look
the-
what?
They look a lot more impressive on Zoom because it gets rid of if you've like scribbled a little. Like if I
Yeah.
scribble.
Totally. Well, what it really does is that it frames. Whenever you have a frame, when you take the picture, it puts it inside of a rectangle, so it's framed out, and it's really important to frame things, and that's a good example of how that works. Okay, so gentlemen, we have to start from. We're going to build our way up. So I'm got to go for the big obvious one. Hopefully, you guys see this, but on the right side there is a huge column. There's like a staircase that goes here. There's this massive column on the right. And you can add some shadows, you know, if you want to show that there's like the side of that plane. And we can add the details, like there looks like there's little separations and stuff between the rocks. Don't worry about that. Just stack these rocks just like we did before so we can get the column.
Excuse
It looks
me.
like it looks like they even added a roof up there. Yes.
Is it okay if I draw it on the other side? Because I don't have room on that one end.
Yeah,
I'm
get,
trying to
get a,
fit all my stuff on one piece of paper. So
yeah, if you can. I mean, just get a new sheet of paper. I mean, you could
Can I
turn it
put it
around,
on
or you could
other
draw. You could draw
side?
super small too.
Can I put it on the other side?
Do whatever you need.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, I mean, maintain artistic independence at all times. All right, so it's almost like you have to figure out how big each one of these like arches is. So we've got this wall, and then you go to find the center. So we have this brick, then we have this brick, and then this is where it starts to split. That's wild. Oh my gosh. So I don't know if you can see this, but this center column makes a Y. And you ask yourself, why does it make a Y? Well, one of the arches is going to come up over this way. And then the other arch is going to come off of that Y and arch over to this side. So I'm not cheating by drawing the base of these arches. I have to know where they're going. Now we're like drawing a drawing. We're not like building it necessarily, but even if you were building it, this is what you'd have to see. You'd have to see this. So the thickness of our Y here, the Y to the right is going to give us the thickness of this arch. And then the Y, the leg or like the split is going to give us the thickness on the left. Now, I wonder what these are made, what material these are made out of. I think they might be fired brick. I don't know if they're slate. Sometimes there's bricks, gentlemen, if you look up here, sometimes there's bricks that are fired and they look like the bricks that you would normally see on a house, like that proportion. There's other bricks that are like long and thin. And sometimes, and then they mimic like the shape of, of like slate. So I actually, the answer is I just don't know. We'd have to like be there. But if you lived in Rome, and you were familiar with these types of, architectural elements and ruins in particular, you would know what they were. We just don't live in Rome. So, and we don't have ruins that are 2,000 years old in our backyard, where these people just live and grow up around the what was left over from these ancient civilizations. It's very cool. It's very wild. So one of the things that I'm looking for is, because I know this arc goes up and to the right, I know that there's like almost like a combination of slate. So like there has to be a keystone somewhere in here or something, or like a combination. Maybe there's two keystones, but the way that these rocks are stacked, they may be a lot thinner because this is just an old well. You know what I mean? It's not like this is a grand building from like the other piece that we drew. The one we drew before was a citadel. It was there to guard armaments and soldiers and possibly even like, rulers of the cities. This is just basically a community well, maybe even a part of an aqueduct that, keeps rain and debris and like, dirt out of their drinking water. So it was probably made with more local materials. And, maybe some of these. So as I'm thinking about it, it's not that it's not a nice design. I mean, it's a gorgeous design, but it makes like this, it's like a rainbow of stone. And all of these arcs like radiate like the sun. That's actually kind of cool too. It's like, imagine this is like the empty space, the black space is like a sun. And then all of the lines are kind of radiating out from it. It's kind of beautiful. So this arc that runs on the outside, that is the first of a great many arched stones. And hopefully you can see this, but this makes a tunnel. This piece of architecture makes a tunnel. So if you were to come up here, you'd be looking into a huge tube. So we're actually seeing the inner portions of this tube and all of the others. So if you follow the arc that runs this way, you can actually follow the wall up this side, and then there's the whole, all these bricks are stacked on top of it, and it goes into, you know, the oblivion. I mean, it goes into the unknown. I think before you shade in that whole thing, look at how they drew this little pot. There's this little pot that's resting on that, and he does it so brilliantly because it's a light pot up against the darkest shadows of that tunnel. Wow. So I'm going to have to shade. And that shade indicates that light disappears into that. And this is where we're getting that illusion of depth. Everything that's on the outside of the tunnel, it's fine. It gets light. You can see it. You know, we got some bushes up here. Got some tree branches, some shrubs growing on top. What's inside, that's a damp, dark. You can actually, I can almost like hear like the droplets of water, you know, dripping off of the cylindrical rooftop of the tunnel. So there's this one, and then you get another one. I don't know if you want to draw the people. You could draw two little. There's a lady washing her clothes. I imagine that there's this little bath, like an actual pool on the inside. Maybe it's a pool. It'd almost be like a laundry mat, or, you know, like a medieval laundry mat where people would come and wash their clothes in the spring because the water is constantly cycling. Have you ever actually seen a spring? Water just comes out of the ground. It's so strange, and it comes up very high. So it's like the water pressure like squirts it out, I guess. I mean, I guess it's water pressure. I never really quite understood that. I still don't understand how water gets from the ground up a tree trunk and then into, you know, and then into all the leaves. Where there's like no pump. Is it a suction? Like, or is it like a huge sponge? It can't be like a sponge. There has to be some active movement that the cells of a tree do to move water against gravity up until the highest heights of these trees. If anybody has a scientific explanation for that or a word, I'd love to hear it. So I'm drawing the inside of this cylinder. You know, you can, it sounds like it sounds terrible, but if you think about the inside of like a toilet paper roll, you know, like it's like the cardboard toilet paper roll. Like there is a light part where you can look in, and then eventually it goes completely dark. And it doesn't take long for the light to disappear into that tunnel. But looking into cylinders isn't that common of a thing. So that's why, you know, toilet paper rolls are relatable. They're everywhere. What other times do you look into a cylinder? And it's not like a telescope or binoculars. I mean, you are doing that, but there's lenses involved. And it is a fascinating experience. Even just looking through like a longer cardboard roll, like for wrapping paper or something, you know, you can actually, it functions like a telescope because it closes out everything except for what's in that little hole. All right, so listen, gentlemen, let's maybe I'm going to move this down a little bit. Oh my God, there's goats in there. The image is not particularly big. This is Fragonard. So Fragonard's one of my favorite painters. He's hilarious. He actually has a really good sense of humor. But he was also spent a lot of time in Rome. He won the Prix de Rome, which is a trip that French artists were able, if they were the best French artists in a particular year, the government sent them to Rome to study, classical art and the ancients. And so that's where he was doing this. I'm sure he did this on the Prix de Rome. His kind of the guy that's almost on another level than Fragonard is a guy named Hubert Robert, and it's spelled Hubert Robert. Just if you just Google Hubert Robert, all these neoclassical pictures come up. Also amazing sense of humor, very, very classical, very, very smart, defined an era, you know, 17th, 18th century French painting, you know, really came from these two guys. Of course, there's others, but all right. So I'm gonna try and make some marks that look like trees. I'm not doing such a good job. I haven't blended anything with my fingers. I haven't really developed a code yet for what the marks for trees are. But I am, frankly, I'm more interested in the fact that like we did get two types of arcs so far. We've got the highbrow arcs for the Citadel and these very commonplace ancient ruins of these arcs that helped service the well. And you can, this is where you would do some of the details. You know, how are you going to make it? You know, what are some of the tones? What are some of the, you know, the where the rocks have cracked and like, you know, broken off, you know, over all of the centuries that they were in use, and you know, all of the weather that they were taking. So many rains, so many droughts, even winters. It's interesting that I drew these two brick slabs over here. You can see that there's some brick blocks on this side. Here's another archway. So you have a column, there's a little door. Looks like a door to like some kind of shed or even like a manger or something. There's like columns on this side, a door, and then this rock arc that leads, that bridges those two columns. That's beautiful. He loved trees too. Fragonard loved trees. He loved dresses. He loved women. He loved portraits and animals. He drew everything. And I'm just like looking at, like, I know that he took particular interest in the architecture that's in this picture, but he did not waste the opportunity to draw the trees either. They're really pretty trees. Wow, look at that up there. Oh my goodness. Really commanding trees. So this will be the 2-minute warning. I think I've got one more. Which I think you'll like. It's mostly tonal. So there's a lot less detail in the next one, but the arch will make a lot more sense when you see it. And then I'll make sure I save some time so that I can take some photos. Let me write his name down here. Fragonard. Fragonard. Jean. Henri. Honor. How do you pronounce that? All right, like I said, the next one is mostly shading. You'll see it immediately what I'm talking about. This is all about texture and, you know, like little teeny bricks. The other one is completely different. Xavier, how'd you do? If you are screaming into the camera, you're on mute.
I'm not screaming.
I know. Whoa, nice one, Jack.
This is what I did. I didn't really pay all of my attention to this when I drew it.
That's okay. Those are nice though. Those are nice big bricks. Yeah, you zoomed in on it, which is wonderful. Yeah, you could have, the only thing that would have helped that maybe, but it's hard to know in the beginning, but if you turn the paper sideways rather than tall, it's the only other thing. John, how'd you do on this one?
I did it pretty well. I got a lot of it done, but
Mhm.
I needed to go to the bathroom, so I didn't get all of it.
That's all right. I'm so pumped to see it. Oh, that's great. Excellent. Okay, so the only thing that I would say that you could improve that is if you look up here, see how you did all the arches, all the sideways arches that went this direction? That's exactly right. You can also come across with little tick marks. So if you go like this, all your shading went like this mostly. And then you
Yeah.
come across, if you come across with some horizontals, you'll be able to give suggestions of the bricks.
Let's see. So you mean like this?
Yes. Yes. And towards this outside, you can actually literally draw bricks. Like actually draw. This is the part of the toilet paper roll that is lighter. Once you go
Got
too far in, you can't make the difference. You can't show bricks. But early on, you can show bricks on the inside.
Got
And
it.
then
Let's
then it
see.
just disappears into nothing. Nice. Jack, did you get this one?
You mean like this?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And then the right side corner, make it super dark. Dude, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And you can only get so dark with your pencil, so like that's all you can do. So this one, we may not have time to do this, but at least I can explain it, which is kind of nice. This is a combination of the two that we just did, because it's a grandiose space. It's I think it's a cathedral. It's in Rome, and it's got a double column. So you've got this arc here, and this column here. So you have these epic, I'll just try to sketch it really quickly on a smaller scale, but you get a column here, and you get a column here, and then there's this nice little like collar to the column. I don't know what you describe those. There's like these little miniature capitals. And then from this corner, it goes to here. And then you get the inside of that here. So the crazy part is that the whole thing has like very little architectural details to it, because it's all the light. I'm going to put a sun here. All the sun is coming from outside. So then everything that's inside of here is in shadow. And we got 3 minutes left, so it stinks. Because it's so nice, it's so pretty. And then there's a little shadow on the top here. But it's not that different. It's basically, it's like it's almost like a simplified version of the ones that we just made. And seems like there's this like really grand staircase. I mean, I think it's just worthwhile just looking at the picture. Oh my gosh, yes. I didn't know this. So the artist that I told you about, Hubert Robert, he's one of my favorite artists ever. And he wanted, Fragonard wanted to be him. This piece is Hubert Robert. I can't even believe it. Here, let me zoom out so you guys can see you can prove it. There's his name up there. So this is Hubert Robert. And this is one of his sketches. And it's just a unique lighting situation. Yeah.
I just remembered, speaking of architecture, have you done any woodworking yet? Or have you done any new woodworking?
Oh, that's interesting. One of the adults that's in my class tonight, he's taking the class because he does, wood decoration.
Cool.
I do I do like chainsaw carving, like more sculpting. I like make
Yeah,
bears.
Are you
hands and
still
stuff.
working with wood? But yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, I don't do a lot of whittling. But this guy does like hardcore woodwork, and so he's taking classes to learn how to draw so he can decorate his his
Wood.
furniture. Yeah, and that is a whole huge rich tradition as well. Okay, so
Cool.
listen, are you guys are back next week, right? All three of you?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, good. I'm pretty sure. I have to check the list, but I
Unless
think we
I
might-
die.
I think, well, of course, unless if I'll be here unless I'm dead. And I think
No,
there's going to be
yeah.
some of the Gilman guys. So tomorrow is the last day for Gilman's camp, like in day, after school program that I teach. So I think some of those guys are going to be moving over into this class. So we might get a bunch more Gilman guys. I'm going to stop the share for a second, and then Xavier, if I can see your second one, and Jack, if I can see yours as well. I need to photograph it. So Stacy,
This is
doesn't
my
get it.
final. Also added a few things at the bottom.
Let's see. You zoom back out again. Yes. Wow, that's a nice page, man.
I'll show
Really
mine.
good page. Yeah, let's see it.
Alright,
I
hold
was
on,
gonna wear
I'm
my Bob
getting-
Ross shirt today, but I have to
I'm getting-
save it for an 80s party that I'm going to this weekend. Oh my gosh, the thing is so good, Jack. Yeah, the one roof for some reason on the right looks smaller than the one on the left. I don't know how it's possible because everything else
right?
looks small. Yeah, that side looks smaller than that side. But I don't know why. Maybe it's just the angle.
I think so.
Or maybe
This
the
is
very.
This is
If you
the thing
move
I'm
the
doing
very
for art
top-
class in school.
That's cool. I like that one.
We're doing pointillism, so soon I'm gonna add the points.
Nice. Yeah, that's really good.
All right, goodbye.
Jack, have a great day.
Have a good day. Bye.
Xavier, can I see your last one? I didn't get to photograph it.
All right, so mine, I didn't really add anything. I just worked on the first one and a lot. So here's mine. First one.
Yeah, dude. All right, can I see your first one since you added a lot to it?
Well, I didn't add that much, but I added some.
It'll be better to get this picture anyway. Oh yeah, that's a patriotic piece of architecture. Great work. Thank you, Xavier. Are those fireworks or is that a sun?
That is a sun. I would like to put fireworks on
I
that.
was gonna say it might be if you had like 4th of July theme going on. That could be
Oh
nice.
yeah, because I do have an American flag.
Yeah. Dude, be a patriot. All right, boss. I will see you next week. Great work.
See you next week. Bye.